Hello and welcome to Expert Advice. Today we have with us Sapna Srivastav, who is an architect by qualification and currently she is the managing editor of Buildertech magazine. Today she shall be discussing with us on child-friendly homes. Let us first welcome her. Welcome to the show, Sapna.
Hi, Pooja.
Sapna, tell us, how do you define a child-friendly home?
A child-friendly home by definition is something which takes care of the needs of children. It should be secure. It should provide healthy environment which is nurturing for the kids. And most importantly, it should be age appropriate. You know, the kind of child you have at home, it could be from infant to toddler to a teenager. So the child basic needs have to be taken care of as per their age in the child-friendly home.
Okay, Sapna, tell us, are our present homes child-friendly?
No, not at all, because our homes are still being designed as per adult preferences, as per adult parameters. So kids' ergonomics as well as kids' safety features are many a times or mostly missing in homes presently, and that's basically because of lack of awareness. People generally are not aware that we can design homes as per children needs and as per making it more child friendly. So basically presently we are not giving that much emphasis on that.
Okay, Sapna, tell me, what are the things inside a home, a general home, which are not child friendly, the things that might be harmful for a child?
Anything from space planning,
okay,
to fittings and fixtures,
okay,
to finishes that we use, to furniture that we use, they are not child friendly. For example, when we are planning our homes, we need to create spaces for kids. If it is a toddler, an activity area for him. If it is a teenager, a private area for that child. In terms of fittings and fixtures, for example, our bathroom fittings, they need to be adjustable so that a younger child can use them easily. In kitchens, our fittings are not child friendly. For that matter, in our furniture, most of the furniture have very high VOC, or formaldehyde is used in most of our furniture, which is not good for children, and that is why one of the reasons we see a lot of kids with respiratory problems and asthmatic. One of the reasons is because our indoor air quality is not good. Secondly, the finishes, the paints that we use, the polishes that we use on our furniture, they are high in VOC content. So again, it's not good for children. So we need to improve on all these aspects.
Okay, tell me, when we try to design a child-friendly home, or we need to take any necessary steps inside the home itself to have a child-friendly home. So what are those steps?
Again, as I said, these are some of the basic lacunas that we have, that is the space planning, fittings and fixtures. So in all these aspects, we need to improve them. Space planning, when we are doing, we need to have, for younger kids like toddlers, we need to have supervised areas where they can play. For example, area next to the kitchen door is a supervised area where mother can keep an eye on a toddler. For older kids, we need to have areas where they can, all kids like adults need their private time. Many a times they want to retreat back, and we need to have those kind of spaces for them. Similarly, it's always preferred that a child has his own room. There might be limitations in terms of space, but that's a preferable arrangement. In terms of fittings and fixtures, when we are talking about bathrooms, we should have adjustable shower heads which can be pulled down and the child can use them easily. There are scald-free taps, which means these taps have thermostat built in them, and even when there is hot water in the tap, the surface remains cold. So when a child touches it, there is no accident of him scalding himself. Then there are, in terms of our furniture, the furniture should not have sharp corners. Furniture should be made of low VOC or low VOC materials. Plastics should not be used. We generally use plastic furniture for children, which is a complete no-no because they are made of PVC, polyvinyl chloride, which is a harmful material. Again, in terms of finishes, we need to be careful what kind of furnishings we are using. carpets generally we use, but if they are synthetic carpets, most probably they have their adhesives have VOC. So we should use more of natural fibers, natural curtains. I mean to say natural cotton curtains or natural linen curtains, wool, anything natural which does not have synthetic material in it is good for children. So these are some of the safety measures that we can take and which are not very difficult to do.
Okay, so all the viewers out there who have children at their homes, please take a note of what Sapna is saying. Okay, Sapna, these were the basic things. Now tell us the design or the architectural planning that has been into forefront these days. Do you think that kind of planning is a child-friendly design, is a child-friendly plan?
Nowadays it is, the architectural plans are becoming child-friendly. We are seeing a lot of people now, they are keen to have a separate kids room, if not kids room, at least a kids area. Okay. Most of the developers are now coming up with complexes where they have play spaces built within the complex. One of the reasons that you see a lot of people are moving to suburbs and into townships is because amenities like child activity areas, sporting facilities are provided there. So the families are now taking into consideration the kids' needs, and our architectural designs are transforming into child-friendly units, child-friendly complexes. The fittings that we are now providing, even the developers the fittings that they are providing, they have some kind of safety features built in. For example, the electrical switches that are being provided now, they come with automatic shutters so that by accident a child does not get into trouble. So it is happening. Architectural designs are improving, are becoming better.
That's great. We actually need such kind of architecture and planning and design in our homes. Exactly. For our toddlers. Now you mentioned about eco-friendly furnitures inside your home. Could you enlist some?
Eco-friendly, when we say eco-friendly furniture, as a definition of eco-friendly is something which is environment sensitive, which is not harming environment, which means it is made from recycled material, or it is made from natural material, or it is recyclable, which means we can reuse it instead of throwing it and going into landfill. Anything which does not harm our environment is considered eco-friendly. In terms of being child-friendly, anything which is not toxin carrier, which is not made with synthetic material, is good for children health, is good for their breathing, respiration, because they are not inhaling all these bad and toxin gases.
Okay, this way you can ensure your child's health. Now it's time for a short break. You don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Expert Advice. We are speaking with Sapna Srivastav on child-friendly housing design. Now let's take this conversation further. Sapna, could you tell us what are the important aspects of a child-friendly housing design?
When we are creating housing, basically within a housing complex, there are a lot of things that we can do to make the entire complex safe for kids. For example, common areas, corridors, stairwells, they should be well lit. They should be, again, the flooring should be such that it's non-slippery, which is not only good for kids but also for elderly and other people.
Exactly.
We should have no vehicle, no traffic designated zones where kids can cycle, kids can roam around, which they can run. Especially the entrance areas, they should be traffic free zones.
That's a very important point. I feel that is to be noted.
Exactly. Even in terms of elevators in tall towers and high-rise, in the elevators the sensors should be placed at the bottom so that they can sense a child and they do not by accident close on a child, because mostly in most elevators the sensors are placed above and they are not able to sense something small going in or out. So that is again another safety feature that should be included. Play spaces are very important within the complex for children. There should be some seating around the play spaces where adults can sit for supervision, where
Exactly.
even teenagers can sit, and because teenagers need lot of social interaction.
Exactly.
So these spaces become a place for social interaction, for them to sit, for them to meet their friends. So these kind of spaces we need for older kids. These are some of the things within the complex that we can take care of. And in terms of housing units, again, accessibility is very important. How the units doors open into corridors. They should be such that they are very well, they can be seen properly, and the kid can recognize his own home. Ramps and ramps are very important accessible feature, which is mostly missing in most of our buildings.
Could you elaborate on ramps?
See, we need ramps everywhere within the building so that parents can take their strollers, they can prams for infants when they are going. It is important for people with disabilities who are using chairs, wheelchairs. It is important for elderly people who cannot climb stairs. So we need ramps in public spaces which these people can use. We need proper guardrails, handrails everywhere, and they should be at appropriate height so that even children can use it.
Okay.
So these are some of the features within the complexes that we should have to make them not only friendly for children but also friendly for very many other people.
That's a very important point. I think all the viewers should pay a heed to this. And I think it's not only about the child, it's about you, your safety, and the kind of happy living that you shall have by taking these steps. Now, Sapna, tell us, what are the kind of changes that we should make inside the home itself in design so that we can ensure the room or the home is a child-friendly home?
We can start with, again, space planning. Again, first thing that we need to recognize is the age of the child that we have. If it is a toddler, he needs activity space. So we can create nooks and corners for the child, which can be designated activity spaces with their toys in these spaces. For older kids, we can create nooks and corner where we can have for example, a window seating where an older child can sit by himself, can read a book, study areas which need to be incorporated within the space planning. In terms of, again, the kind of furniture that we use will have a lot of effect. A lot of furniture that we are using nowadays, again, as I said, is all according to adult preferences. For example, at a dining table, most of the homes that we see, kids either sit on the dining chair or they sit on the sofa or other places because it's easier for them to eat, because the dining chair height is not appropriate to their size. Instead of doing that, we can have high chairs for younger kids so that they can share the same dining table with other children and are much more comfortable. So we need to create spaces which enhance independence for older kids and help in development of gross motor skills for younger kids.
Yeah, that's also very important. Now, this was about the interiors. What about the outdoor areas? How can we make them child-friendly?
Outdoor areas, one, safety is very important aspect. When we are saying all outdoor areas, when we are saying play areas, first and foremost, those play areas need to be safe for the child. In terms of the flooring, the play area surfacing should be, there are a lot of new technologies available, there are a lot of new materials available which should be used in play area so that a child, even if by accident it topples over, he does not hurt himself. So in terms of play area surfacing, that is one aspect that we need to take care of. If we have sand pits and all, we have to ensure that the sand is clean. It does not contain any harmful bacteria, or it does not contain any waste, or people are not putting their waste in there. So that sand has to be clean to give a clean space for the child. In outdoors, we can have simple play areas. By simple play areas, we mean where the span of attention for the child is not too much. For example, swings, slides, balancing beam. These are some simple play activities.
Exactly.
Then there are some complex play areas, which means it could be a sand table with sand tools.
Okay.
It could be a playhouse, it could be a jungle gym where the attention span of the child is more, the involvement is more, and the physical activity is more. So we can create these kind of spaces for, again, age appropriate. A lot of sporting facilities now developers are providing, so that is a very good initiative. We can have, if possible, sporting activities like courts for tennis, badminton, or for even basketball if possible.
Okay.
Pathways which are used for circulation can be a good jogging track or a play area, because it's seen most kids, they like to play on paved areas, so those pathways become a good space for the kids.
So are you talking about those reflexology paths?
Not necessarily. It could be just a paved path. So even if we have paved path, that can be used for circulation as well as a play space for kids. But we also need to see that all these spaces, these outdoor spaces, are well supervised and secured and hygienic for kids.
Yeah, that's more important. Sapna, you're talking a lot about play areas. Now, all housing societies can't have play areas. So do you think in modern times, is it necessary to have a play area inside the housing complex itself?
Within the housing complex, if not much space is available, again we can have some designated areas which could be made especially for the kids with some equipment, because I'm sure a lot of parking areas that we have at certain point of time when the cars are not there, they can be designated as kids play areas. So it's just the will has to be there, and you know, one can innovate. As it is said, when the spaces get scaled down, then the design quality has to scale up. So we just need to find new ways how to do it.
Only the expert can, guide us through
Exactly,
this.
and that is the reason, hiring a qualified architect or a designer is a must. They can give you solutions for a lot of things.
So now you know why an architect or a designer, or for that matter an expert in that field, is required to design your home. Now it's time for a short break. You don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Expert Advice. Before heading towards the break, we spoke a lot about the interiors as well as the outdoors when it comes to child-friendly housing design. Now let's take this conversation further. Sapna, now let's specifically talk about a child's room. Now there are a lot of furniture inside a child's room itself. So what kind of furniture should a child's room have?
Again, first of all, ergonomics, which means child specifications, their child height, child size is very important. There was a research which was conducted, and it was found most of the school furniture was not ergonomic, and therefore was not, most of the kids were getting back pains.
That's quite a shocking fact.
Because it was not designed according to their size. Secondly, the material was not friendly. So in terms of kids furniture, first of all we need to see that it is child ergonomically designed. The sizes are appropriate. Again, in terms of, there was a University of Minnesota study which has come out with a finding that sideway motion of a cradle, it gives dizziness and discomfort to the child.
Okay.
Instead, a forward motion cradle is perceived as linear and much more soothing for a child. Those kind of cradles are available in India as well now.
Okay, the ones who are expecting child, they should take a note of this.
So another important aspect is the materials again. In terms of furniture all around the house, when we are talking not specifically, we can't say only children's room, but all around the house, even for other people also. The basic material that is used for furniture nowadays is MDF, which is medium density fiber board, and particle board. These are the most common materials which are used for furniture. Again, MDF contains a lot of formaldehyde. Particle board again releases a lot of toxin. So when we are a solid wood or a natural wood is a much better option, but again it's very expensive.
Okay.
So if we are using MDF, we need to take care that they are formaldehyde free. That option is available in the market. If we are using particle board, we need to take care that they are the sealant, the finishing sealant is not toxic. Again, that option is also available in the market. Fiber boards, which are made of wood waste and molded into boards without adhesive, again is a good option because it does not contain any toxic material. Plastic, again, as I said, most of the furniture is made of PVC, so it's not a good option. There are some manufacturers who say their plastics are toxin free, but jury is still out how safe they are.
That's a false.
So rather metal furniture is still much better, which does not have a toxic paint.
Okay, those were very useful tips. Now tell us about kitchen. Kitchen is a space which is least occupied by a child. What kind of designs or what kind of measures a parent should take so that it is ensured that the kitchen is a child-friendly housing design pattern?
Kitchens are very good areas for a lot of activities for kids, for family time, mother and child bonding, which does not happen too much because our kitchens are not designed that way. Some of the safety measures that are required in that is one, hot oven should be at appropriate height, that they are not reachable by children. We can have topple guards on our work counter so that nothing hot topples down. Our hobs should have protective gear around it so that the child cannot reach there. The cabinet should be child-proof, lock equipped. Our taps again should scald-free taps so that even if there is a hot water coming in, the child does not burn his hand accidentally. Within the kitchen, we can create space for the child to do some activities with the mother or with the family member, which means we can have a workstation, a separate workstation or an island counter within the kitchen if it is big enough, wherein the shelves are shallow so that the child can reach easily. The surface is very easily cleaned.
Yes.
And we can have a microwave nearby so the child can do activities at that counter. So that becomes a specific counter. We can also include some seating, some stools with that counter, so which the child can use as his own area. Again, it can be used for some cooking activity with mother or family member.
Learning and growing.
Yeah, of course. And it could also be used for study while the mother or the family member can supervise the child within the kitchen.
Exactly.
So we can create spaces within kitchen also and make it very friendly to the child.
Okay, Sapna, that was a very useful information for all the mothers as well as the fathers, the entire family, as well as they got to know a lot how and why a child's safety is required and why a child-friendly home is required, the most important aspect in the lives of a parent as well as the child. Sapna, thank you so much for coming on our show. Thank you so much for giving us your precious time.
Thank you for having me here.
So this was Sapna speaking on child-friendly housing design. We'll be back with another episode of Expert Advice wherein you will get a lot of information and expert tips. You keep watching Spin TV. Goodbye. Take care.